Let's talk through my top 10 books of 2025 so far. Like always, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. This helps me know if people actually like this long form content because if you guys don't like it, why am I making it? Anyways, let's just jump into the books. Number 10 for me is going to be Darkblade Assassin, Book 4, Savior. This is a indie published book by Andy Peliquin. This book is dark, it is gritty, but at the same time, there's so much hope and light within this hero and this hunter that is our main character in here that you want to know where this is going. Andy's done such a great job through this whole series, just pulling my emotions back and forth. And the end of the first arc here with Book 4 Savior is a fantastic way to cap off these first four. I highly recommend checking out Darkblade if you're a fan of grimdark or dark fantasy, but there's still like those little lights of hope in there, so stuff could end up okay, but really, I don't know if it will. Andy, you've done a great job with this series so far for me. I can't wait to read the next 6. Number 9 is going to be The Book That Held Her Heart, Book 3 of the Library Trilogy by Mark Lawrence. I know this book is a toss-up if people are going to like it or not, but for me personally, this whole trilogy works so well. I feel like this last book just wrapped it up perfectly. This world and this story is just so unique. Like, it feels so different from everything else that I read, but still feels very, very fantasy. Like, I'm just so into it. And yes, there have been people I recommended this to that didn't feel the same as me, but I think when this book hits, and if it works for you, it will be one of your favorite series. It's just that kind of series, and I'm a huge fan of it. At least read the first book. If that works for you, I would keep going. You are going to be a fan of this. Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I adored this first book. I thought Gideon was awesome. The world was awesome. The whole plot felt very tense and stressful, and I love that it didn't really come together until the end. But because Gideon was so strong as a main character and someone I was really invested in, it made it easy to get through this book and was so excited to get to the next book, Harrow. Unfortunately, I DNF'd that book. I'm hoping to come back to it at some point. I'm hoping I just wasn't in the mood for that book, and that's why it wasn't working. Focus changing to a different character for me just did not work because I did enjoy Gideon so much. I know people that swear by this series, so I'm hopeful when I come back to it, it will work for me. But regardless, Gideon, the first one of my favorite books I've read in a long time. At number 7, we got The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan. I have no idea why this book took me so long to read because everything about it is up my alley. It feels like Lies of Locke Lamora. It has an awesome, mysterious plot. The characters are incredible. Everything about this book works for me, the setting even. But I didn't read it because I saw some middling reviews on it, so I just kind of like push it off to the side. I regret that. I really do. I really do because this book was fantastic and it is one of my top reads this year. I'm so excited for the second book this fall. I cannot wait to get back in this world with these characters because this book for me filled that Lies of Locke Lamora itch that I've had since Republic of Thieves. And I don't know if we're getting another Gentleman Bastards book. This is taking its place. I really love this. Highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Lies of Locke Lamora, if you like that Victorian, almost to industrial setting, this is going to be right up your alley. You're going to have a lot of fun with this one. Number 6, The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. Now, I am an R.F. Kuang simp. I love her writing. I love her prose. Everything she does works for me. So take what I have to say with that bias in mind. I have finished this trilogy, but this one was my favorite in the set. It took me 7 years to get to this book after reading The Poppy War back in 2016, 17? I don't know. It came out around then. I really liked The Poppy War, but it wasn't pulling me in. It wasn't making me want to continue. So I just didn't. I read this and I realized how stupid that was. I absolutely adored this book. Our main character shows her true colors, and while those true colors aren't great, I think for the character that she is, it works extremely well. I love the idea of a character just saying, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want because I think this is best and this is what I want. You don't see that a lot in books. Usually they're making decisions for the greater good. She may think that she is, but I think at the same time, she just knows what she wants. I really like that. I like that she goes in, knows what she needs to do, gets it taken care of, and then takes what she wants on the way out. Yes, this book is dark. There are some trigger warnings in here, but if you can deal with that stuff, I would look it up online. I would definitely read this trilogy if you haven't. I'm a huge fan of it, and that's all I can really say. If me and your tastes align, you'll probably like this series. And number 5 of Darkness and Light by Ryan Cahill. So yes, I am a latecomer to The Bound and the Broken. Although I liked the first book in the series, it wasn't pulling me forward. It wasn't making me think, okay, this is revolutionary. I need to get to it. I was a little confused why so many people were so hyped about this series. But then I read the second book. The second book by Ryan is what made this series for me. So yes, while I probably liked later books better, I have this one on my list because it was the most impactful for me when it comes to The Bound and the Broken. Ryan goes beyond just another author influenced by like Wheel of Time or Aragon, and this story really becomes his own in book two. Everything about his writing goes up like five notches. Our world building, our character development, our plot, just the lore of the world. Everything starts to come together, and you can tell he's coming into his own. You can tell he's taken that next step as a writer, and it shows in this book because this is when The Bound and the Broken becomes such a memorable series. This is why the series is so beloved by the indie community. What Ryan does in the second book is establish himself as an epic fantasy author with his own original ideas, and it just keeps getting better and better. I love The Bound and the Broken, but Of Darkness and Light was when Ryan became one of my favorite authors. A Time of Dragons, Book 2, In the Shadow of Kings by Philip C. Quaintrell. I love Philip. This man writes some of the best interconnected series that I've read. He's up there with Sanderson for me because all of these series in this lore, in this world that he built is so gripping. It feels so real. Verda feels like a place that has been thought and steamed over and like it's been made for like a video game or an incredible D&D campaign. Like Philip Philip understands what readers want when it comes to the world, to the lore, and how stuff connects. This series, A Time of Dragon, takes place way before his other series, and it still feels fresh. It still feels like something I am going to have to read. Because of the interconnectedness of the other books, because of the character callbacks, you see where they were wrong. You see what they had wrong in the later books, and he is retconning that in this first series and making it special. In structure and order of publication, I like to compare it to Michael J. Sullivan because he does a lot of that too. He has his series that draw you in, and then he goes back in time. And what that does is make those series that you loved when you first read them even more lifelike and even more enjoyable for you. And I feel like Philip does that so well. Now, with Philip's other series, I knew he was a great author. I knew he had a grasp on fantasy, but when it comes to A Time of Dragons, this is when he becomes a true epic fantasy author. We see glimpses of that in the Echo Saga, but in this series, there is so much going on, so much lore, so much to pull on from his previous books that these become Stormlight level books for me. Philip has already taken his robust catalog of books and makes it even better because of the addition of these books. I've already read the third book of the series. It's not on here just because it's not out yet, so I don't want to talk about it, but it's even better. It's even better than this one. A Time of Dragons by Philip C. Quaintrell is going to go down as one of my favorite epic fantasy series of all time. I guarantee that. Number 3, Grave Empire by Richard Swan. God, I love Richard Swan. This guy mixes fantasy and horror and industrial revolution all into this beautiful package of ridiculousness and just so offbeat that you can't get it out of your head. You cannot stop thinking about these characters. You cannot stop thinking about this world. He implants it into you, and it is all consuming. I loved his Empire of the Wolf trilogy, but Grave Empire and what this is has solidified Richard as an incredible writer for me. This book is so unique. It is so special in the fantasy world. When people read this, they will understand what I'm talking about. Yes, his other series is incredible. If you haven't read that, though, you can jump into Grave Empire. It does take place in the same world, but it is many years in the future. So there's not a lot of connection. There's some stuff for longtime fans there. But other than that, I think you can start here. Grave Empire is one of the most unique, offbeat, off-kilter reads that I've had in years. I highly recommend this book. I highly recommend Richard Swan. He does such a good job making you feel uncomfortable and making you feel like you are in an epic fantasy, man. And I just love his work so much. This book, beautiful. The Will of the Many by James Islington. Look. I know it's crazy that I didn't read this till this year. I do want to let you know, though, I'm a huge Islington fan. I read the Lycanius trilogy as it released. That is a very important trilogy to me, and I really love it. So this book scared me. This book scared me because of the hype around it. There was not crazy hype around Lycanius, and I loved it. So I felt like because that hype was there on this book, that it was going to be something that just didn't really mix with me or jive with me, as you will. But knowing that I love the Lycanius trilogy, it was just always sitting in the back of my mind. I needed to read this thing. I just didn't want to ruin what I already loved about James Islington. That was the dumbest mistake I've made in my reading career, probably, because this book is incredible and deserves all of the hype that it gets. This Romanesque setting that's kind of future and past, a great hierarchy system, and just such compelling characters in here. This book not only deserves the hype that it's been getting, it deserves all of the hype that people haven't given it yet, especially me. I regret not reading this book earlier because I would have loved to be part of those early conversations, which I could have been, but I didn't because I was ignorant. Here I am now begging for the next book, and you know what? Saga won't get back to me. So there you have it. If you have not read The Will of the Many yet, just read it. It is so worth it. If you don't like this book, I don't really know what's going on in your fantasy mind, because especially with this ending, it is so James Islandton and it is so Lycanius at the end that if you're a Lycanius fan, no, it doesn't seem like it takes place in the same world, but there is echoes of what James did before, and the stuff I loved about Lycanius, I feel like is here, but done much, much better. And my number one, a book that I do not own because the US hasn't published it yet, which is criminal. Lancelot by Giles Christian is the best book I've read in 20 years. No book in my recent memory has made me feel the feelings that this book has made me feel. No book has changed me as a person in my actual life as Lancelot did. Giles is a master of characters. He is a master of taking something that we already know, legends that we already love, and twisting them in a way that just makes them a whole different people and changes your perspective completely. It makes this story feel so fresh. It makes it into something that sticks in your mind because it's so different from the stories that we've had about the Arthur legend before. Lancelot was so good, I got a Lancelot inspired tattoo like 2 months after I read this book. The rest of the series is incredible as well, but Lancelot is the one that sticks in my mind because that one changed how I think about the Arthur legend. This whole series, Giles basically takes a spoon and slowly digs out your heart as you go through it, but in the best way possible. If you're a fan of Robin Hobb and her character work, and you love how and you're a fan of the trauma that Robin's characters go through, Giles just goes, wham, we're going to put this to 11. And dude, it works so well. I cannot recommend this book enough. I don't want to say too much about it just because I feel like it's something you have to experience on your own. It's a slow burn. It's a very slow burn, this story, this character building, but when it hits, man, it hits. I have not had someone read it yet who I've recommended it to who have not liked it. This book is an all-time favorite of mine, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Well, there's my top 10 of 2025 so far. I don't see the first book changing, honestly, but we'll see what happens. You never know, because Giles might write something. I don't know. Thank you all if you got this far for listening. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, hang out with me. Let's talk about books. Have a great day, guys.